Hello, I'm Matt Reynolds, editor of Packaging World, here with another episode of Take 5. We've been closely following Colgate-Palmolive's rollout of what it says is a breakthrough tube in the US. The company's been building up to a recyclable toothpaste tube for some time now, but it's finally a commercialized reality. To alert consumers that the tube is now recyclable, Colgate's including on the tube's front panel a prominent "Recycle Me" message, as well as a stylized image of 3 tubes in the shape of the well-known Chasing Arrows recycle symbol. In a virtual press conference Packaging World attended a couple of weeks ago, Colgate reminded us that it's a brand found in more homes than any other. So of course it wants to lead in waste reduction and, in particular, making the toothpaste tubes part of the circular economy. The Recycle Me tube is designed to educate and engage consumers and the recycling community, who are both essential to progress. Colgate-Palmolive's tube is the first to be recognized by external authorities, specifically the Association of Plastic Recyclers, as recyclable. It's made from HDPE, the same plastic that's used for milk and detergent bottles. By removing the aluminum layer that has for so many years served as the product protection component, it was a key to making this product recyclable. Replacing aluminum as a barrier material is EVOH. Multiple layers of blown HDPE are extrusion laminated to a blown co-extrusion that includes EVOH. The recyclable tubes for the US market are made in Colgate's Morristown, Tennessee facility. And according to Colgate-Palmolive, the recyclable tube has, on average, an estimated 25% smaller carbon footprint and 40% lower waste footprint. 2 additional points that are worth noting. First, Colgate is sharing its recyclable tube know-how with other companies, including competitors. The decision was made in recognition of the simple fact that for recyclable tubes to succeed, it's required for a critical mass of tubes on the shelf that meet recycling standards. Second, Colgate-Palmolive is developing a recyclable tube pilot program in partnership with peer companies and working with a leading MRF and reprocessor in the US. The pilot will focus on one county or municipality to test how educational efforts can build tube recycling rates and assess the quality of the tube material that's collected for reprocessing. The data will be used to define easy-to-action best practices for tube recycling to be shared with communities and recyclers around the country. Switching gears, another pet topic here at PW has been the promising but slow and stop-and-start advent of paper bottles. Going beyond that, what about the possibility of a paper cap or closure? I was at Smithers Sustainable Packaging in the US event in Chicago last week, and there was a whole lot to take in. For me, the most poignant moment came during a panel discussion. Ian Lifshitz, VP and Director of Sustainability, among other roles, I'm sure, at Asia Pulp and Paper, he said that he recognized a shift in recent years. He said, and I'm summarizing here, we used to talk about what should be done, what could be done, and what we might do in the future. Today, we're talking about what we are doing. And perhaps more importantly than that, the people at the table right now are the right people. It includes marketing and CEOs and CFOs. So there were a lot of interesting examples of real commercialized projects, but one that really caught my eye and caught my attention, and it's not quite commercialized yet, but it soon will be. And that comes from Blue Ocean Closure. It's a Swedish startup that seeks to disrupt the beverage and specialty food and cosmetics packaging markets by introducing a high-end molded fiber closure or screw cap for bottles. And the intention is for these caps to be both recyclable and ocean biodegradable. Not so different than what we just discussed with the Colgate recyclable tube. The million-dollar question in this instance is going to be the company's approach to barrier properties, considering that this closure is going to be destined for liquid beverages more than anything. Recognizing that this might not be the perfect approach, rather the low-hanging fruit approach that will advance the concept and situate it for a better solution in the future, the company has opted for a thin top seal plastic liner, the same that's used in metal closures today. This would only be about 2 to 4% of the material used in each molded fiber cap. And according to CEO Lars Sandberg, it just gives us the freedom to move to the market faster. This low-hanging fruit approach extends to the closure itself, which at the moment is made of high-quality, readily available virgin fiber instead of recycled shorter strand fiber. But the virgin fiber does come from FSC-certified sources, and the company seeks to potentially move into recycled fiber at some point. Sandberg again says to expect further innovation as the company grows, but at the moment, this startup really seeks to remove as much complexity from the system as possible to begin to scale around its core concept. One key question came for Sandberg from the audience, from a gentleman from PepsiCo, naturally. It's a large beverage producer. Would these molded fiber closures be able to run on existing equipment like high-speed capping lines infrastructure that might already be installed? Sandberg said that the goal was for this project to be a drop-in, one-to-one replacement with maybe a few tweaks to accommodate the differences in material finish. That would be something if it was able to occur. Blue Ocean Closures was just one example of an interesting project that years ago seemed distant and futuristic, and are now approaching commercial viability. We'll be following this one closely as it heads towards a commercial launch, perhaps within a few months.